Hey everyone, welcome to the Smile Project, a podcast from School of Dentistry, IMU.
Thank you for joining us today. This podcast is all about holistic dental education on the go. This would enhance your knowledge and attitude not only towards dentistry, but life as a whole.
Tune in to hear and learn from specialists from various fields of dentistry, sharing their experience and discussing topics in the realm of dentistry. So, let's begin.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Season 3 of the Smile Project podcast. My name is Shahed.
And I'm Brinda. Today we have a very special guest in the studio. She is a professor of restorative dentistry as well as the founding dean of IMU School of Dentistry that was founded in 2007. Yes, I'm sure you would have been able to guess by now, it's none other than Professor Toh Choi Gait.
Hi Prof, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me in your project. I'm looking very much forward to it.
Us too. So to start with the questions, so since you are our founding dean, how did you embark on such a journey?
Well, you can say that I was headhunted. I was offered the job to see whether I was interested. I was near retirement from my former position in the University of Malaya.
Wow.
Yes. So I had a very nice lunch meeting with some of the senior management staff of IMU who then said, no, we would like you to consider, starting a dental program in IMU.
Okay.
All right. And when they offered me, it was a very nice Japanese lunch at the Hilton Hotel. The first thing that came to my mind was, this is a private university. And having had more than 30 years of, academic experience in a public university, we are always a bit cautious when it comes to private universities. Are they all about money making? So my first question was not so much whether, what the job is about, but what I said is, in your university, is there research? And what about quality of education? And I was very pleased to receive the response from Dr. Mei Ling Yang.
Okay, yes.
All right. She, as you know, she is a founding member of IMU.
Yeah.
At that time, I didn't know that.
Okay.
But she says, IMU is all about quality. We are all about quality. And of course, we also have a research, very much into research, as all universities should be. So I was very curious. Now, then I would start to be interested after that initial query, because I feel a university is a place of knowledge, and you do need to be a place to encourage ideas and finding of new information, and research must be part and parcel of the growth of knowledge. All right? And I feel that especially in Malaysia, it was always my passion that in Malaysia you can get world-class education. All right? We have a very diverse community in Malaysia, and I think we have good brains in Malaysia as well. So why can we not be a center for world-class education? So then that triggers my interest, because in a private university there is a bit less restriction of government policies and things like that, which may control you in some ways of implementing things. So I was thinking, we are starting a new dental school. Can I put all these ideas into place? So I said, is this institution for me to do this? Then I'm interested. Otherwise, why should I be taking out of my comfort zone? I visited the campus and I was met by Professor Mark Junwa. He was then the director of our research center. He's actually very well known. Before he joined IMU, he was in the Ministry of Health and was in charge of the Center for Research of the country, National Research Center. So he's a very well-respected researcher. And so it was very nice to see him. And then he took me a tour of all the research facilities in IMU. And I asked him, Prof, what type of research can IMU do? He says, all kinds. Anything that you want to do, we can do research here. Then I said, what about mechanical testing of materials, which in dentistry we do? Because I said, as I look around, there are a lot of facilities, but I do not see mechanical testing equipment. He says, if you're interested, we can always incorporate that. So that excites me, because they are open to ideas and they are open to, all this research, and I was very impressed that nearly one whole floor was taken up by research facilities. And so for a private institution, not all private institutions really support research that well. It sort of excites me. Then the first person I met was Professor Vishna. All right, she was then, just a young lecturer relatively, and she showed me around the place, and she was so cheerful and so much into IMU that you cannot help but feel that IMU is a place special that you want to be. So that was a very good impression when I first came to visit IMU, and after talking with Tan Sri Abu Bakar, he was the president of IMU then, Dr. Mei Ling Yang, all right, Prof Victor Lim, all right. It was really very nice. So I said, this is a special institution that I think I may be interested to join. Because before IMU approached me, I had also other offers to other institutions. So it's nice to have a choice of whether you want to start a new career or a new job, or you just retain, into a familiar grounds where you have always been. So it is a decision, and it's a decision also made with my family, because this is based in KL. Because I had also overseas offers. They said, no, we would like you to be with the family in Kuala Lumpur. So I accepted IMU. So it is a journey that is very fulfilling. I have no regrets about it. It's wonderful.
Very touching, Professor. It's a really nice leap of faith that led to an amazing school of dentistry.
Yes.
So with that, Professor, what was your vision for IMU School of Dentistry when you started off?
Yes, I feel that when you come to a university for education, it needs to be, very holistic. We are not just going to train just a profession, all right? Somebody with a license to practice. But can he be set to love the career and set with skills that not only he enjoy being it, but to be successful. And when you think about this, that if somebody wants to come into the profession and love the profession, because I tell you, there are a lot of dentists after midway who feel, even during the course, they are not really into it, they are not happy, and then when they pass out, they don't want to be dentists, or midway dentists, they drop the course. So I think I wouldn't want my students to be in that category. I feel that we should have world-class education here, but holistic education, where we prepare our students not only with the good skills, clinical skills, but also with all the soft qualities, what they call soft skills, or essential skills, I would say, of communication, very important. Because I was on the Malaysian Dental Council for many years, and when we see dentists getting into problem, a lot of times it's not because they have intention to be bad, but mainly it is miscommunication or lack of communications with the patients, and the patients get very upset and felt that they were mistreated. I don't think anybody is out there purposely to mistreat any patient, So a lot of times it's because of lack of communication or poor communication. So we put that as number one concern. When our students come here, they need to know how to communicate with patients and be holistically in trying to communicate with patients, not only about dentistry, but seeing the patient as a whole, as a person that have various concerns, and understand where they're coming from. And when you communicate with them, that they understand what you're trying to do, the service you're trying to offer, and also the price they need to pay. That's why we were the first dental school to charge patients for student care. I felt that we shouldn't be free, because if anything is given free, for one thing, the patient may not really, appreciate the services offered to them by the students. They may feel like some would say, we are guinea pigs for students' training.
Yes.
And that should not be. I felt that if I want to start a course and train dental students, they need to be well prepared when they meet their first patient to be there to provide service. So any training to prepare them must be carried out in the dental skills laboratory, and get them to be, to know about how to communicate, how to provide service and care for the patient in a way that the patient will care for you, will be like a partner for you. That's why I came up with a tagline for the clinic: transforming lives, all right?
Yeah.
With oral care, all right? Because we are there to transform people's lives. And if you think of that, as a dentist, we do. Do you know that since when we have good dentistry in the country, the healthcare and the lives of people actually get extended. They have less medical problems. Because a lot of problems occur if when you don't have poor oral health, then you get medical problems because of infection spreading, or you don't get a proper diet and things like that. So oral health is part and parcel of the whole total health. So that must be the message going through. And it shouldn't be, we are all about teeth and nothing but the teeth. It's not that. We are about oral health. That's why our center was called Oral Health Center, not Dental Center.
Yes.
Because dentals tend to give the connotation, this is about teeth and nothing but the teeth. Dental means teeth, right? We are actually about health and oral health, which is the whole face complex, outside the mouth as well, and connecting to the whole body. That's why in our program you can find that there's a lot of medical,
Yes.
because you are a health profession.
Yes.
All right, so we are part and parcel of the whole medical team. When we say medicine, it is a broad medicine, about health in general. And I love IMU in the sense that I said it's a very unique university, all centered on healthcare, on health, all the professions related to health. So I said, it's a special university to have that, and to be able to have all the interaction in one campus between all the various health professionals and the students, because we felt that interprofessional learning is so important. It sets you up for the future. You are not just working in your clinic just as a dentist. You are part of a oral health team. And when you have interaction with all the other health professionals, even at student days, you already have friends next time when you practice.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
And you can refer and cross-referral that we know what is needed, what is essential. When we started chiropractic, dentistry is also with chiropractic, because
TMJ.
it is about TMJ, about joints, and also musculoskeletal problem.
Yes.
And we want our students to be aware also, for you to enjoy a healthy, long career in dentistry, you need to also learn how to take care of your health.
You need some
All
chiro
right?
friends.
Yes. And then so right from beginning, form this chiro program, whereby the chiro students will then observe the dental students at work, in the clinic as well as in the dental skills, and to see that are they getting positions that potentially give them musculoskeletal disorder.
Okay.
So you see, ergonomics is very important. It's not about talking and telling students, you need to sit straight, you need to, do this and that. I think, it is nothing like saying that, okay, do you have these problems now?
Okay.
And can you avoid problems later on? If you see in traditional dentistry that's being taught, in the old days especially, dentists are taught standing up. Most dentists work standing up. A lot of them do not know how to do four-handed dentistry. All right? They are lone practitioners.
Yes.
They may have assistants, but the assistants just to mix amalgam for them, mix material for them, and do whatever they need. But they are not then there helping out in the delivery of care. So when you have four-handed dentistry, you are delivering safer care, because there'll be something keeping an eye, making sure that the tongues and the other soft tissues are protected and all. So it's a much safer care. So when we start off the dental program, already first on is four-handed dentistry. All right. Actually, I started four-handed dentistry very early days in University of Malaya, and because in the past, all dentists are trained single-handed. In fact, in many dental schools, even then. So we always have visitors from overseas as external examiners, and they say, "Oh, your students are doing very well. They seem to do the care very well. Even placing on rubber dam is not such an issue when you have assistants. Imagine if you single-handedly put rubber dam, they always have such a nightmare because of handling of all this, and then when they graduate, they don't use it. They say, oh, it's too much work. But when you do four-handed dentistry, it is very doable, and it is safer dentistry. When you know how to do with a nurse, next time when you go out, you know how to train your nurse to do with you. So I say it's the training in the dental schools, because when I observe people later, when they're outside, there are a lot of things in dental school they learn but they don't do. They stop doing because they had such a difficult time doing those procedures during dental training that they said, no, now that there's no professor looking over my shoulder, I don't do it. All right. So that it gives me to think, are those things really necessary to teach if people are not going to use it later on? But if you think it is essential, then we must teach it right. Okay? So in the journey of academia, in teaching, we start learning and seeing are we being effective? To be effective teachers, we need to say that our teaching carries on. People remember and find it useful and love the profession. Not something they do because they need to do it during dental school, and then now they're out, they don't do it anymore. Then why are we teaching that, right? That is redundant. That is hopeless. You are not teaching something that will be carried out. So that makes me approach dentistry and designing the curriculum and the student experience very differently. I say, as a founding dean, I can say what is going to be the teaching learning experience for my students. I wrote up the curriculum, being very integrated and all that. Then when the staff comes in, we sort of put them all together in this new idea of how dental education should be delivered. Looking at what our graduates will do later and what we should put into our curriculum to prepare them for the love of dentistry and for the good professional practice later. That it comes so natural. Because when you have the natural habits of doing all this, it's no longer stress. You don't need to think. It becomes automatic. You naturalize it. So it's about getting a novice who doesn't know anything about dentistry to become competent and even become later on, proficient and expert in some of the things.
Okay.
All right, because it's naturalized it. You do it, so frequently. And that's one of the things that we do is also about reflection.
Yes.
The best, strongest one was reflective practice. So this is again new for any IMU. But now, as people go out, they find it so useful. Even outside now, they start. Because straight when you do your session, there are always things that you do well. And you need to remember that and be happy that you have done well. All right? But there are things that can be better. Or maybe some issues you face. Why am I having this difficulty? But straight, because directly after that, you remember. And you don't stress it out when you discuss about it in the group. I have this problem. Why do you think it is? How can I avoid it? Otherwise, if you don't see it, then next time you will avoid it. That is terrible. If possible, I don't want to do that. No, it is reflecting. Why is there difficulty? Then when you see that and you talk about it, then it's, maybe I should practice more about certain things to help my skills, or I should read more about it. So it's sharing of experience. This is very strong learning. So you learn more than just about your own experience. You learn from other people, and then so you can avoid the problem that other people are facing when it comes to your turn.
Yeah.
All right. So all this group reflection is very important. It makes us think, and then it makes us appreciate why this practice. Our patient, we have done well. You need to share that as well. Why have you done well? How are you doing it? Yes. Is patient happy? So you start looking at it holistically in your practice, and you start loving it. So the reflective practice gives you the foundation to say that, this is my role. What can I do better? Even when you're assisting, it doesn't mean you learn just because you hold the handpiece. It's more than that. Because people don't get into trouble because they drop the handpiece or they cut somebody's lips and all that. It's never handpiece control that's a problem. The problem is always about seeing things as a whole from everybody's perspective, and you can work as a team. As a dentist in the clinic, you are the leader. You need to know how to lead. You need to know, if you don't play the role of others, how do you know the stresses that they face? And when you have two and then you can communicate, this is one of the best experiences. So these are things like that. And if you look at the way people learn, we always look at how people learn and how to get learning to be exciting. It is when they do things. And so, I cut out a lot of lectures. In the past, people said, we want a lot of lectures. But that is passive learning.
Yes.
You are learning from an expert at a limited time, but there's much more to it than that. And then when you hear somebody, can you apply it? Then you say, or something that you heard, is it relevant for my practice? You may not know. So it's always good to give a clinical situation, let you think about it, a problem that you solve, or you even act it out. All right? I was in planning the curriculum, cut off a lot of lectures. I review lectures that my staff are doing because it's all on e-learning, and I'll call the staff up. No, you need to change your content and all that. Because lectures have its use. It's very useful, but it needs to give information that you can't find in textbooks. Not repeat what is already there. You can find everywhere. Even you Google, you find. And it's not to repeat those type of information. It is more to tell you why you need this information and how can you use such information. You can get the information. That's why nowadays we also have flipped classroom where we tell you go and read about it so that when you come, you know what we are talking about.
Yes.
Right? So that's important. Teaching in a very different way. Not passive learning, but doing it. You see, like, for example, public health and community health are so important because you need to know that you are a member to look at general health. You're not treating one person healthy, but from the treating person, it is about the whole community, the whole society being healthy. We want to train leaders of healthcare, that you find yourself important and you can lead. All right. So for leadership, you need to have experiences of leadership. So we create situations where students lead in many things that they do. All right. We trust them. We give them empowerment, but with guidance, of course, so that they are not just lost and just going there. Yeah. So it's very interesting in this journey, I will tell you, because from the first batch, I had a few students who left after first semester because they were not prepared for the new way of what we are trying to do. I had one student who told me, Prof, we come into IMU and we have to pay fees. It's so high. We expected when you pay higher fees, you get more lectures. Then I told them, no, lectures is hand-holding. We want to bring you to become independent. So if we start all the time hand-holding you, you will always depend on somebody to hold your hand. And when you lose the person holding your hand, you get insecure, uncertain. And then if you cannot overcome that fear, you become disliking, you're making mistakes and all that. Right? Then you won't like the profession. So I said, it is the journey to bring you. I said, all of the students coming are very smart, but how can we tap on their potential? Give you the experience such that when you go out, it's not a shock. I am ready for the workforce. Because when you come in, especially in the past, we always say, the schools is all hand-holding and all that. Then it's such a shock to come to IMU. I said, no, because people said that you can't do this. The students won't be able to cope. I said, no, we underestimate students. I said, our students are really now very smart, very savvy. It is us to be, to believe in our students, all right? So even our first year, our first batch, there's a topic like embryology and tooth morphology. I said, they're boring, they're just facts. No lectures at all. I tell you, that one has the most number of lectures, anatomy, embryology. They'll tell you one lecture on every tooth, one lecture on central incisor, one lecture on lateral incisor. I said, why are we giving no lectures at all? I brought an interactive 3D tooth atlas. We get a session where our students can then do the software and you can see all the tools and then why and all that. And then we have practical sessions. We throw them all the teeth, all right? Tell us, identify the teeth and tell us why do you think this tooth is a central incisor or a lateral incisor. So they need to do all their learning from the 3D and it's there all the time. Anytime they can go and revise and then they really can recognize the teeth. I can tell you from experience in the past, in the traditional dental anatomy sort of program, they had a whole course on dental anatomy where you have lots of lectures on tooth morphology, you do drawings and all teeth and all that. When they came to second year and they were supposed to mount the teeth, they still mount lower teeth in the upper jaw, upper teeth in the lower jaw. They can't recognize. It's all theory, you see. And when the theory, they cannot translate into real things. So I said, we must change the way we teach them. So give them the real teeth right from beginning. Can you recognize them? And how? Why? So a lot of things you find in IMU, we do things very differently. Mainly from the student's point of view and from the patient's point of view. How can we deliver education differently? How can we develop future professionals differently, such that they love the profession, they are set up to love the profession, and they are set up to be comfortable and be successful. So these are the skills we want them, not just a license to practice. But because of all this and the quality and the things that we need, because right from beginning I said, we'll go digital, no more paper records. So when we have all this, we have to say that the cost of delivering the program increases. That's why our fees are higher. Then people say, why is IMU cost? But it is different, you see. But then if you compare the cost, and I say it's world class. In UK, you get that things. And some of the things we do are even better than that. You pay even higher. Because we need to benchmark with international standards. we are not benchmarking about local standards. Because, after so many years in a local public school, I feel there are a lot of limitations we are not doing and we can do it better. Why not? It costs more, but I think it's worth it because there will be people who feel it is worth it. Because I can tell you, I follow the social media right at the beginning. When the IMU fees was first announced, because it's the most expensive, or the highest cost. I don't like the word expensive. Expensive means there's no value, all right? So it's the highest cost, and in the social media, why so expensive, don't go IMU and all that, all right? Because there's other private universities around that is either half the price or just 2/3 of the price of IMU, but then they are going on very traditional way of delivery. And when we want to do this delivery in a different way, we need to invest. I said it may be worth it because if once people know the difference, they'll think it's value for money. What is very important is value-based education. We need to ensure whatever we deliver, people see the value in it. Why are we doing it? All right. So we engage the students a lot right at the beginning, especially the first batch and and all that. Is because it's so different. Nobody can advise them that this is the right thing to do and the way. But I said you can see. Then later when they go to with other university students, then they could see the difference. They feel, they know. Oh, our experience is so different from other universities. So it is nice that starting with a lot of students, then later I had people even willing to wait one whole year to get into IMU because the reputation of it has grown. Our students, I said, our students are our best ambassadors. If you feel that's good, you need to share. And then when they share, then they say, oh yeah, this is a school I want to be in. Because education needs to be exciting. It's the best time of your life, it's memorable. All right? Because later on, there'll be other stresses when you're working and other things. So now is the best time. You have less responsibilities. It is just to prepare yourself for the future. So I said this journey, which is not short, is 5 years, right? Should be a memorable, worthwhile journey. Yeah?
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely on the path to being memorable and worthwhile.
Yeah, okay.
So what are some of the challenges that you faced in this journey and how did you overcome these challenges?
Yes. As you know, IMU is very unique as well. We do need to be world-class because we have a credit transfer program.
Yep.
So right before even we have a first intake, I have to present my curriculum that I plan to our potential partner universities. There were already partner universities for the medical program who are willing to be our dental partners. But they need to see that, are you really can match for us to do. So we need to convince them. So even before we start the program, so I presented our curriculum. And some did have concern because my curriculum was very different, very integrated. And they said, why are you teaching extraction of teeth to your students so early? When they come to us, they are only in the 3rd year, and they will not learn about extraction until in the 4th year because they are a very traditional program, all right? I said, you can tell me if I didn't do enough. But if it's more, it is for the students' benefit. They can always learn again, all right? Because I said, our program is our unique program and we are going to partner to any university. So some universities may want to teach, extraction earlier. And at that time, University of Sydney was also wanted to be our partner. And they said, yes, University of Sydney was a graduate entry program, 4 years. So they said, yes, our students will do extraction in their 2nd year and 3rd year. Because by the time you go in the 3rd year, they are only a 4-year program. They would need to do extraction already. They are expected to know extraction. So that shows, because I said we want to partner with any good university and they have different ways of doing. So I want their basic before they transfer to be very well grounded in all the various areas. Then there was one critic who says, one dean, well, if you put so much into your program, surely they may not learn enough. They're not deep enough. I said, no, the depth of learning is how you get the learning experience. I said, you can tell me if they don't learn enough. Because we are not going by lectures, you see. We are doing it very differently, such that they can apply. And it's very important, all right? So it gives you a new challenge. When your student can transfer to any program that can go into traditional or modern or integrated, they must be able to still be able to function and enter. It's not easy to go from one system to the next system and very quickly pick up and be the same as the locals. All right, not easy. So it's a big challenge. So it's also a challenge for us. How can we prepare students for that? So I said, no, we will get it that our students know very well that, you know, there are many ways of doing things, like many routes to Rome. But as long as you know it's evidence-based, you can always defend what you are being taught and what you know. So therefore, whatever you learn must be based on really the facts and why. If you can support why, you can always, I say, anywhere you go, you can defend yourself of why you think you want to do certain things. So that's important. And not be didactic, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Because didactic, you become a rote learner. And you don't know how to jump from 1 to 3. So it is never that. It is more the outcome. That's why we say we are outcome-based curriculum. Is what outcome are you trying to achieve when you're managing a patient, when you're managing a disease? What sort of outcome? And from that outcome, first you must know how to make the diagnosis, then you must know how to achieve the outcome. And to achieve the outcome, what must you do? And every patient, everything is different every time. So it is very important that you understand in such a situation, the best way to achieve the outcome is what must I do? Rather than be very didactic that treat everything as average and you do just the standard way. But there will be people deviating from that and you don't know what to do. So it's very important on how to cope with change. Change management is good because then, you know, there's less stress. Otherwise, it can be very stressful in the clinic and adapting to new curriculum and all that, right? So it's a nice challenge, you know. When you have a challenge, you start thinking, what should be the solution? What's the best solution? There's many ways of doing solution. And you start, everything become an experiment. And that's why the feedback is very important. So you find our students, we're always asking for feedback. All right? Because things keep on evolving. Students' basic skills keep on evolving. So we want to build on your skills. Not just do everything that's same, then it becomes, very boring. So it's always exciting. So we want the whole program in your journey, you feel empowered, you feel exciting. I'm always learning something new, and it's fun during this journey. We had lots of like staff student games and social events and all that. When we are a small school, it's so much, So it's really a very memorable journey for me all these years. Yeah.
So there's a solution to everything.
Yes.
I think I learned that so far.
Yes.
In my journey
Yes.
to IMU.
Yes.
So with all that we have conversed so far, Prof, what are the key strengths of IMU? Now I've learned that the curriculum is one of the key strengths of IMU, School of Dentistry.
Yes. The experience that you're going to get, that's why we have been building into trying to do personalized learning.
Yes.
When you say personalized learning, that means we are not treating every student as the same. If you have a very standard curriculum and a very standard in tradition, a lot of the students still can't go away with it, schedule of work that you must complete. People are stuck in that. They only want to finish the schedule and then so that they can sit the exam, they can take this and all that. So the students' mindset will be very different. They are not there to be triggered to learn more, to do more. They only say, like for example, they'll say, you need to do 10 amalgam fillings. Then they say, okay, I finished 10 amalgam fillings. And then the patient may need more. I don't want, I pass the patient to another one. That's what's happening. All right? I finished my schedule, so I don't need any more. So this patient goes down. So they don't care about the patient so much. They are only caring about completing the schedule to finish the course, to get the degree. All right? So I said, that's not the type of professional I want to train. I want them to really care for the patient. And then right from the beginning when you see the patient, you see and then you are interested to get to know them. You're interested to see what are their problems and you feel you can manage the problem. And things you cannot manage, okay, I have a limitation. I will now refer you, to somebody else who can then manage this problem for you better. So this is the profession that I wanted to train, not on fixed schedule. So personalized learning means somebody can be very good, hand skills. They are very good with their hands, so they can do all their training much better. Whereas others need a bit more work to train themselves. So they should have more sessions. That's why we have what we call flexible learning. There are some didactic ones where everyone are taught what they need to learn. Then for the practice, some will have more sessions to practice, to bring up, to say, I'm now confident. Whereas others who are already confident can move on. They no need to wait for others, to catch up before they can do. Then that's called what we know as personalized learning.
Yes.
All right? So you are good in certain things, you can move on faster.
So curriculum and personalized learning.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
patient-centered.
Yes.
Now patient-centered, we always had patient-centered care. But now I said we should move on to person-centered care. What's the difference, do you think, between patient-centered care and person-centered care?
Seeing the patient as a person.
Yes, that's right. When you say patient, you always think of the disease.
Yes.
And you're caring about the disease of the patient, right? Which is not wrong. The patient did come with some health problem for you to care for. That's your basic skill. But if you see the patient as a person, that means whatever decision he do and whatever you do for him is going to affect his life. All right? That's why, especially for complex care and care that costs more money, if you see the person, then you can give him all the options, and the decision cannot be made by the person himself. It can be influenced by family, it can be influenced by others. Or it could be influenced by some of the restrictions or challenges the person is facing. So you can personalize or customize the care to suit the person. Not everyone, you have this, you must have this, the solution. So it is the solution of the care must be personalized to the person. So when you see your patient as a person, the way you communicate and the way you want to deliver the care is quite different. Don't you think so?
Yes.
Absolutely.
When you look at all the other factors that's influencing his life, his lifestyle, and also, the decision making. So your clinical decision making now is more integrated, more holistic.
Yeah, holistic.
Yeah. And the patient will appreciate you more because you're seeing him as a person.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So these are the little subtle things that I think is very important if you want to train good professionals.
Okay. Which also happens to be the key strengths
Yes.
of our school.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To continue listening to the second half of this episode, do stay tuned for part 2 that will be releasing soon. Thank you for choosing to listen to the Smile Project podcast. See you next time.